Welcome to the Cuick 10 podcast, brought to you by Cuick Trac, focusing on all things FedCon and cyber defense from different perspectives and different personalities, all in 10-ish minutes. Here's your host, Derek White.
All right, welcome back to another version of the Cuick 10 podcast, live and in person here at CUICON in Tampa, Florida. Another ecosystem event. Today I've got Thomas Graham from Redspin joining me. Tom, thank you for sitting down and spending some time with us.
I'll enjoy having you.
Thank you, man. Okay, well, let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and about Redspin before we get into some questions.
Oh, absolutely. We just kind of show up at these things, hang out, have some free drinks. No, I'm joking. So,
They're not free. That's not interesting.
Dr. Thomas Graham, Vice President, Chief Information Security Officer for Redspin. Redspin was the first authorized C3PAO under CMMC v1. We've been in the ecosystem as a C3PAO since about the middle of 2021. Since that time, we're very active in the voluntary program, joint surveillance, and have been going that route ever since. Not only for assessments, we help folks get prepared. We can help you if you're interested in a cloud, we can do that. And also, my favorite part is we're also an LTP. So that means we can train you, we can help, teach and get you prepared to take the certification. So now you can actually do the work.
And that's good. Yeah, that's one of the things that we've known each other now for years. You guys have definitely been out in front. Get after it, which is good. I know your team's growing. Thank you for mentioning the training part, because that is a huge need and will continue to be a huge need for quite some time, as we need more people, and they have to know their stuff. It's not just showing up to a DMV and getting your ticket and filling out paperwork. So that's good. Okay. So then, you guys are doing the assessments, those are started. That's good. That's a big step for the program here when it comes to CMMC. Some of the stuff that you've seen that you're feeling relieved, you feel good, you feel confident about 12 months ago, maybe you weren't sure how that was going to go. Has some of these assessments out of the gate giving you guys more confidence that these things are going to get better and better, and this thing is going to be what it was intended to be originally?
So, I mean, in the short term, absolutely. I mean, the short term, what you're seeing is a lot of the C3PAOs that working with OSCs that maybe were prepared for the voluntary program, the joint surveillance program. So they've been really getting prepared for it and honestly, waiting throughout that whole program's life cycle. So the first few organizations that we've assessed under the formal program have been fairly, they've been fairly good. What I will say though is that, over the last 6 or 12 months, and then especially since the rule was published back in October, a lot more organizations seem to be taking it more seriously. Prior to that, there was a lot of talking heads out there. There was a lot of rumors saying program's never going to come to fruition. It's keeps getting delayed, so on and so forth. New administration now, a lot of folks don't understand that process. But what you're seeing is, even though all of this is in play, you're seeing a concerted effort by the department, by the government, to continue moving forward with this program. We had the final rule in October, when effective December 16th, 48 CFR proposed rule has come out. The federal CUI rule has come out as a proposed rule. Now that we're in the 60-day look back period because it's a new administration. So, for any of your folks that aren't aware, any new administration comes in, any proposed legislation, they get a 60-day look back period on anything that is still considered proposed. It's not something that's unique to the Trump administration or anything.
Yep.
But while that's going on, Department of Defense actually has released a memo to all of its, contracting officers, PMO shops. Here is an early look on how CMMC is going to be implemented in the contracts. And it actually, if you've never seen it, or any of your viewers have never seen it, it actually provides some of the first insight into what organizations are going to have, or what type of organizations will have to go through level 3, which has been one of the biggest questions since this whole thing started.
Which a lot of people are when CMMC first came out, well, obviously it was 5 levels back then, but even when 2.0 came out, it was a 3-level process. There were a lot of questions. Why? It's in a lot of the times those conversations were people where it's like, well, we should, you need to get to level 2 first, and then we can get to level 3. But that clarity has been nice, and I know you probably see the same thing. The joint surveillance program was good because there were people who were motivated to get through that for lots of different reasons. But we also saw what happens when you show up to a joint surveillance and you end up with like a 20. You know, you didn't have a 110, and then that's not a fun situation. It's not the end of the world, but that's where I think you're right. You hit it on the head. It is a different feel in the last 6 months, specifically the last 4 months of taking it more seriously, thinking through things. And you got to give credit to the people that have been doing this for 4 years that jumped in, started working at it, and they've made that investment. It's going to be fun to see that pay off for those that pass their assessments and leverage that, which is good. But to get to level 3 is work. It's not just plugging things in and turning lights on and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no.
It's a much bigger deal, which is good. It's advanced and it should be. So then along that lines of the other side of the coin, gone through some assessments now. I know you guys are swamped, you're booked out. People don't just get to show up to the supermarket and pick their C3PO off a shelf and get an assessment tomorrow. What's some of the areas over the next 6 to 12 months from here that you want to see in 2025 improve? If you could rub the lamp or snap your fingers, there's things that you are looking forward to seeing improving through these assessments.
Well, I want to say the biggest thing I want to see improvement on, and it isn't through the assessments. The biggest improvement that we need right now to help the ecosystem is the Department of Defense figuring out the whole suitability process. If you're not familiar, when you become, CCP, CCA, you also have to go through Tier 3 suitability. Doesn't sound like, it's going to be, at the top level would be, too daunting. However, DOD has told any new CCPs or CCAs it's a 6-month process. So you've studied, you've taken the exams, you've passed the cert, got your resume in, got your 8140, and now you're sitting there for 6 months before you can actually participate on an assessment. This is, at least currently, is kind of severely hindering the amount of assessors and amount of folks that organizations can employ to work on the official assessment teams. And that is the biggest thing. To your point, if I could rub the magic lamp or something, let's figure out how to get this done. If the office is swamped, okay, what is your requirements for suitability? Is there an alternative way that we can go about doing this? What about, some type of probationary suitability, much like in the clearance process where, your first time you're going through, you can get it and it's a temporary designation while they're doing all the background checks. Same thing in CMMC. If, you go through the assessment, you may miss on a couple of things. It can be on a POAM. You still get your interim certification, give you time to figure out those last couple of things, and then get your final one. Let's get that done. Let's get it in place so we can get folks out there so we can, have more folks that are doing the work. Because to your point, technically, can you, go to the store and pick your C3PO? Absolutely. It's in the marketplace. Now, how long that line's going to be when you get, to checkout, that's the bigger question.
Yeah. Can you walk through, for those that are watching that maybe don't fully understand what an assessment team looks like from top down? What is that for Redspin and anybody else that is leading the charge on this? How does a team look on it? How does it have to look is probably the better way. It's not just whatever you guys decide, right?
So it's not. There are minimum requirements, and that's the have to look part. So part of the 32 CFR Part 170, the minimum requirements for an assessment team is 3 CCAs.
Those are CCAs are CMMC certified assessors, right? Yep.
So CMMC certified assessors are CCAs, but there's 3 different types. So each one of those minimum 3. The first one is a lead CCA. The lead CCA has additional qualifications and requirements over and above a normal CCA does. Then you have a regular CCA, and that's the makeup of the formal assessment team at minimum. The third CCA now is considered QA. They're the ones that will make sure all the information's in there correctly, all of the templates for EMAS are filled out appropriately, get your information loaded into EMAS. But at minimum, those are the requirements for any assessment that happens. That was something until the rule become final that a lot of the C3POs weren't tracking, because prior to it, you had to have at least one CCA. But honestly, going back, to the beginning, I remember when we first got our authorization in 2021, at that point, the department said you had to have 4 PAs, provisional assessors, as part of the assessment team, 3 on the team and then 1 for QA. So it's kind of similar. Some of the terminology's different, but they've kind of held to that minimum makeup.
And hence part of the bottleneck with some of that is it's wasn't just, like I said, go pick another CCA off the street. You have to go through the things, which is good. We don't want random people that don't know this stuff doing the assessments and being part of assessment teams. It puts you guys as a C3PAO at risk. It puts the organization. So that's the preparedness. Which again, thank you for highlighting that you guys have not just started doing this. This has been something you guys have been after for years, which we really appreciate. So on that sense, where do people go? Where do you want people to go if they want to learn more about Redspin, talk to you guys about maybe doing the assessment, helping out with other things and preparing? Where should we send our viewers?
Sure. So, really there's 2 spots. First, of course, come to our website. If you come to our website, not only can you find out more about our services, we also have a resources tab on there. It's about 3 to 4 years of actionable information, white papers, blogs, podcasts, and so on. It's absolutely free, not behind a paywall, help you get from point A to point B. The second place that I will tell folks is, honestly, every single month, we have a webinar. And last Thursday in the month. Before you roll your eyes, oh my God, another webinar. Early last year, we kind of took stock of where the ecosystem was and said, okay, what's missing? And we saw all these webinars out there where it's, somebody that's like me talking to you for 40 or 50 minutes. You may have enough time for 1 or 2 questions at the end. And they were all kind of formatted the same way. So we decided to flip it on its head. First 10 minutes, here's an update that you might not be aware of. The rest of the time, open mic, open forum, come on camera, type in your question, ask any question you want. It's to Redspin CCAs, but we also have brought in some of our partners at times. So we've had representatives from MSPs. We've had Matt Travis from the Cyber AB on it.
Yep.
We try to bring in these other folks to give different perspectives and different insight into specific questions, those types of organizations. And every single month that we've had it, it's grown, honestly.
Good. I mean, thank you for highlighting that, because that is a big deal. There's a lot of, not everybody has 6 hours a day to watch 6 different webinars. It is refreshing to see people get into the weeds on things that it is nice to listen or watch and take some feedback, hear some questions, real questions, which is good. So kudos to you guys for doing that, because that is a tough thing to do, and it can get dry pretty quick, or sometimes over detailed, right? And then people are showing up for 40 minutes to a topic that they didn't get what they thought they were getting. So that's good.
Well, I mean, honestly, every single one that I've been on, there's been at least one question that I've had my moment, and it's kind of caused you to think. I love those questions because it's not the run of the mill, same questions that you get every single day. It's, here's a unique use case, and for me to get from here to where I need to be, what can I do?
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, thank you again for spending some time here. It's the first day of a conference. It's 2 days long. But this is the best part about being at conferences like this, is a lot of people here want to do the right thing, and that's the important part. So thank you again for those for watching. Thank you, Tom, from Redspin. If you want to find more information on them, please check out those resources, check out their webinar, and we will have you on again sometime in the near future.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure to subscribe to the Cuick 10 podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and check us out on YouTube as well. For more information about Cuick Trac, visit our website at www.cuicktrac.com. That's CUICKTRAC.com.